Welcome back to our Mastt tutorial series. I'm Jake, and today we're exploring the payments module. This is where you'll track and process all payments against your contracts and variations, providing a complete record of your project's financial transactions. Managing payments effectively ensures you maintain accurate records of your project's expenditure and can track progress against your contracts. So when you first enter in the payments module, the default setting is showing them based on their contracts. You can go up here and change how they're grouped. So you've obviously got by the month that they were paid, the month that the work was completed, its status, reimbursable claim if you have any reimbursable type contracts, or none if you do not actually want to group them in a certain way. We'll move back to contract. Then across here, you've got the button to add new payments, bulk letter export, which we'll get into in a little bit, exporting of the payment data, either current view or all data, same as in all the other forms. And you've got the option to reset the view, expanding or contracting all, nice and easy, choosing the columns to view, filter, and then also some settings around decimal places and denomination. Now, when you are going to go through and add in a new contract, you've got a couple of options. First one is the best, just auto-filling from PDF. If you've got a PDF from your contractor, from your consultant, you can go through, click and drag it directly into there. And what will happen is Mastt will go through and pull as much information out of it as it possibly can. It doesn't need to be an invoice, it just needs to be identifiable. And then what it will do is it will go through and fill in as much information as it can about what the payment amount should be. As you can see, this is all done. And what it has done is it's gone ahead, put in a new name based on my historic naming conventions. I put in the month, references, selected the contract, stated how much is going to be paid across each, and it's even added in the attachment that I put in just there. So that is the easiest way that you can go ahead and get your data uploaded. Just using the AR upload, you'll get your data in really quick. The only thing to bear in mind is that it will not change the status of the payment. Whenever a payment is added via AI upload, it will always stay in draft because we always recommend that you go through and confirm that the numbers are correct. Once it's out of draft, you can move it into submitted, so the payment has been submitted for approval. Approved, the payment has been approved but has not been paid as of yet. Paid, the money has actually left the bank account and has been paid to the consultant, the contractor, anything like that. And you've also got rejected, which is the payment was declined. You refused to make the payment for whatever reason. And there are other fields you can fill in. You've got the date received, the date payment was due, and then under additional fields, you've got a custom field. If it's not a standard calendar month in which the work's occurred, that's the only time you use this. And yeah, you might want to add in retentions, which I'll get into in a little bit. And you might also want to add in submitted amounts, which again, I'll get into in a little bit. But otherwise, you can just go through, hit add, and that will go through and add in this payment for you. Great, all done. If I go through and I group by month paid, just there, just been added in there, nice and easy. The alternative to that is to do it manually. It does require a little bit more data entry work, but it is an option for you. So that will be giving it a name that matches what the payment is, setting the status, and the month in which the calendar month in which the works occurred. And as mentioned, if it is a non-standard month, if it was not a month period, if it was greater than a month period, that's when you will go through and put this in here. You got the date received, payment due. Once you move it to approved, the date approved will pre-fill with the current day that you moved it to approved. And once it has been paid, it will do the month paid for that you're currently in. And that is the month that it will appear as a payment in the cash flow module, which will be the next module we go through. And you do have other things like the reference number, invoice number, and payment statement claim number. Now, when you're adding in payments manually, you do need to select the contract you want to add in yourself. However, one of the benefits of doing it this way is that you can go through and make payments against multiple contracts at once. The only thing I want to make sure that you are aware is that all the information that you add up in here, like the invoice number, reference number, they will be the same for all of these payments. These payments will be saved not as one payment for multiple contracts. It will be saved as individual payments against these contracts. So if I was to go through, I will have, this is going to create 3 payments against each of these contracts if I'm to go ahead and save this. Now, what you would do now is just go through and fill in the amounts. So as you can see, you've got your previous payments, the amount remaining, as well as a percentage complete. There's 2 different ways you can go through and fill in the details. You can either manually fill in the percentage, bearing in mind obviously there might be some variance in how much the percentage is, or you can go through and just fill in the amount that was approved. Now, the other thing which you can do is if there is a difference between the amount that was initially requested and the amount that was approved, you can toggle on the submitted amounts here. This is where you can say that, for example, maybe the architect requested the full payment that was remaining, which is $20,000, but only $19,000 was approved. Mainly, it might be they didn't finish all the work or something like that. Then you've got this comment box here where you can add in commentary for the variance between the amount that was submitted, the amount that was approved for payment. That will then appear on all payment PDFs you can extract from Mastt. You just go through, fill that in, and hit on add. I'm just going to go through and remove these 2, just make it a little bit easier. And then what you can do is you can come down and you can add in retention. So right now it's just cash retentions and it is manual. Now, one thing that's really important, the percentage does not retain on payments against variations. Because this is a payment against variation, if I put in 10%, nothing's going to happen because there's no payment against an actual contract line item. If I am retaining against this, I need to manually enter in the amount that is being retained. Okay? And then it will track how much you are retaining as you go through. Then you do have your notes, and you can also go through and upload attachments. And so any attachment that you add into the payment, you can collate when you're downloading your payment certificate. It'll ask you if you want to attach it. So uploading stuff like your QS report or your cost estimator report, the invoice, anything like that, you then automatically staple it essentially with the actual payment certificate that you get from Mastt. And then once you're done and everything has been filled in, you can just hit add. I'm going to cancel out of that because I've got one that I did earlier. So this is the one here. And then what I can do is, if I go to these 3 dots just here, I can get access to a payment certificate, payment schedule, or payment recommendation, depending on the letter that I require. These are all very standard templates. If you are looking for anything specific in terms of logos, designs, reach out to customer success or our support team, and we'll have a chat with you around about what exactly it is that you're looking for. Now, when you go 3 dots and download payment certificate, you probably notice I've got this coming up here. So when you're setting up a contract, you have the option to go through set contract standards, which will add who people are under the contract, and that fills a lot of the information for the payment certificate. This is just letting you know that you've not actually finished your work, like the contract doesn't have all the information. That's fine. You can go through, click edit contract, add the information in, and then go through and download it. Or you can just ignore and just continue downloading. And then you get this. If you have any attachments against this payment, it will then say, hey, do you want to actually go ahead and download these? And so that's when you can go, select, and then these will automatically be attached to the PDF that you download. And you just hit continue. That will then process. It can take a bit of time depending on how big the payment is to generate the payment PDF, but this is designed to save you a whole lot of money. And there we go. So as you can see, it's gone ahead. We've got the payment certificate with the full breakdown of the actual payment. And then if we scroll down, this here was actually what I had uploaded. This is just another payment certificate, just as an example. It doesn't need to be an actual invoice. It can be a QS report. It can be a PDF version of an email as well. That has worked. It just needs to be identifiable as a payment and have the details enough that it can identify which payment it should be against. Now, That's not the only way you can go through and download payment certificates. Let's say that you've done lots of payments and you want to just download a whole lot of them together. What we can do is we've got these little boxes here. You can click on them, which enables this letters export just here. So if you click there, you can download a payment certificate, payment schedule, payment recommendation, and it'll download it for all of these payments just here. One thing to bear in mind, it will let you know, hey, these don't have contract standards set. That's fine, we'll just download anyway. It will not auto-collate as of yet. That's not something that we support just yet for this, but this is a way that you can go ahead and get all of your information down straight away. I'll just wait for that to come. That will just come down as a zip file, so you'll be able to go through and extract that and get all your payment certificates done all at once. As you can see just there. Now, if you do want to go ahead and delete any payments, there aren't many restrictions around that, except if you're not an administrator, you can't delete a payment or edit a payment that is in a month that is closed. Now, that's just something which we'll get into when we get into cash flow in the next video, but you can delete payments out of sync. So you don't have to delete from the latest to the earliest or earliest to latest. You can delete a payment midstream. Easiest way to show that is if I go to a contract, let's say we go to the architect contract, maybe progress claim 2 is a duplicate or progress claim 2 is incorrect. I can go 3 dots, and I can delete that one there, and then that will go through and just delete it midstream. That's absolutely fine. But if I'm not an administrator and either the month is closed, and the month is closed, I can't go through and delete that. So that's just one little caveat that we want to go through and make sure that you are aware. Now, that's essentially the payment module. That's how you can effectively manage your payments in Mastt. By recording all your payment information in a really structured way, you can maintain really clear documentation and accurate financial tracking through your project. And with the AI upload, we've significantly reduced the data entry burden. So in the next one, as mentioned, we'll be exploring the cash flow module, how to manage cash flow in Mastt. But thank you so much for watching.